So on May 19th, something terrible happened in Nebraska. Actually, not one bad thing, but two bad things wrapped together in a nice goddamn tuna salad. Nebraska Republicans just passed restrictions on gender-affirming healthcare for transgender minors, and at the same time also banned abortion after 12 weeks. How do they manage to do both at once? Simple, you just put it together in a single bill called LB 574. Yep, ever wondered where your tax dollars are going? Well, at least a portion of it is being used to fund Republicans so they can take away your rights. Anyway, let's talk about these one by one. First, the abortion restrictions. Originally, the restrictions on abortion in Nebraska was 22 weeks, which, by the way, in case you don't know, is about halfway through the second trimester. Honestly, not as long as I'd personally be comfortable with, but it's better than, say, the heartbeat law, which is usually around 6 weeks. Fine, 22 weeks, we'll take it. With this new bill in place, however, this window of 22 weeks is now 12 weeks. Actually, before this happened, Republicans tried to restrict it to 6 weeks, but failed, and now came back with 12 weeks, claiming it is a, quote, compromise. Oh, how fucking generous of you to make it 12 weeks instead of 6. Thank you so much for your compromise. Now, if you ask me, my personal opinion is that abortions should be legal up until viability. If the fetus is determined to be viable by itself, then you simply do a delivery instead of an abortion, since it no longer needs to leech off a woman's body. That, by the way, is as early as 24 weeks, but can be later as well, which means 22 weeks wasn't that bad at all, and most certainly better than 12 weeks. A restriction is a restriction, no matter how you look at it. It wasn't a compromise, it's a robbery of women's rights. Moving on, the other important part of the bill is the restrictions to gender-affirming and medical care for people under the age of 19. Why is it set to 19, you ask? I have no idea, since technically you're an adult at 18. The bill basically states that you cannot perform treatments or surgery on minors, and things like puberty blockers and hormone therapy have to be approved by a chief medical officer, which, whatever, I don't even know what that means. Republicans who voted on the bill justified it by claiming it will protect kids. I didn't know restricting something some kids wanted is a way to protect them. But Republicans seem to be under the assumption that minors generally regret the decision to transition, but that's actually not the case whatsoever. Out of people who have transitioned, including young teenagers, studies have shown that it is somewhere between 1 to 2% of people who expressed regret, and those situations were mostly due to discrimination and lack of acceptance rather than a misjudgment of their own gender identity. And that's the thing. A long time ago, I used to question on transitioning for children. I used to be that person that was like, young people under 18 don't know what they're doing and therefore maybe they shouldn't get to decide on transitioning. But then I looked at the evidence and social situations and changed my mind accordingly. And that's what I think Republicans need to do. Go talk to some trans people, go read some studies, go observe the consequences of gender-affirming care restrictions, and then come back and make laws that actually reflect what the people want. And while you're at it, if you're truly passionate about laws that protect minors, consider the fact that the number one cause of death amongst children is firearms. The last time I checked, being shot to death is a lot worse than transitioning your gender.